Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Casa D18 Studios channel. You could be anywhere in the world right now, and you're here with me, and we greatly appreciate that. And it's time once again to step into the war zone. That's right, it's time for another edition of the Weekly Acquisition Report, the show where I, the Renegade, show you, the viewers, the latest additions to my ever-growing movie library. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of The War Zone, the Weekly Acquisition Report, the show where I, the Renegade, show you, the viewers, the latest additions to my ever-growing movie library. This week, we go back to Dollar Tree. It's been a little while since I've done some Dollar Tree movies. Kind of stopped going there because the holidays, needed to save my money for other things, couldn't really be doing a lot of spending on myself. But I got a stack of about 9 Blu-rays here from Dollar Tree that we're going to go through today and kind of take a look at. And the first one we're going to start off with is what actually provoked me to buy the ones that you're going to see here today, because I saw this one and I was like, I have to get this. It's called the Scars of War 4-pack, and it comes with a movie called Alamo Bay, Birdie, Summer Tree, but the main reason I got it, there in the upper corner, Casualties of War, Sean Penn and Michael J. Fox. I have always wanted to see this movie. I was a little bit young when it first came out. Never really been a huge fan of war movies, so I never went back to revisit it. But with doing my reviews and everything, I'm definitely thinking about doing a month of war films. I wanted to make sure I had that one, Casualties of War, in my collection. Being a huge Michael J. Fox fan as I am, Back to the Future, Teen Wolf, Frighteners, etc., I had to make sure I had this one in my collection to take a look at once we get to the war films. The next one I got, I mainly just picked up because the cast seemed really interesting to me. I don't know anything about the movie, but you got Bradley Cooper, Emma Stone, Rachel McAdams, Bill Murray, John Krasinski, Danny McBride, and Alec Baldwin. The movie is called Aloha. I mean, they even plug it with brilliant cast. Like, you hear all those names in the movie. It looks like it's going to be your standard rom-com chick flick, but it's definitely got a cast list there that piqued my interest. Bradley Cooper, of course, Rocket Raccoon in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. Rachel McAdams, I've spoken of very highly on this channel. You figure she was in Mean Girls, which I discussed when I did Back to School Month. If you missed that review, I'll link it up here. You've got Bill Murray, classic 80s actor. You think Caddyshack, you think Ghostbusters, you think Groundhog Day. You've got Alec Baldwin, Beetlejuice. You know, there's so many great actors in this film. It's going to be very, very easy to plug it in somewhere down the road. I picked up a blaxploitation film called The Human Tornado, starring Rudy Ray Moore, who's probably best known for the Dolomite movies. You know, I've never seen any of these movies, if I'm being honest with you. I usually do Black History Month, and I've thrown blaxploitation films in there before. Last time I did Foxy Brown and Coffee and Shaft. So Human Tornado is definitely something that can get thrown in the next time I do something like that. Maybe not this year because I think I've already got it pretty well planned for next month, but for 2024, definitely can work that in there. You guys know I've been picking up some Doctor Who stuff because my girlfriend is a huge Doctor Who fan. I found Doctor Who, Dark Water, and Death in Heaven in 3D on Blu-ray and digital. So that's going to be a cool one to add to her collection. It's growing and growing. I'm finding a lot of Doctor Who stuff at Dollar Tree. Now, it may be the newer Doctors, who I've been told aren't as great as some of the more classic Doctors, but still, for $1.25, you can't go wrong, right? Am I right? I found a DC Universe animated film, The Reign of the Supermen. Jerry O'Connell, Rebecca Romaine, Rainn Wilson, all his voices. You've got Superman, you've got Superboy, you've got Cyborg, you've got a bunch of different versions of Superman within this film. DC animated movies usually do a little bit better than the live action movies from fan perspective, if we're being completely honest. So it should be interesting to watch this one and kind of dive into that side of things. Creed, the spinoff from the Rocky franchise, the first one in the series. Michael B. Jordan is the son of Apollo Creed. Sylvester Stallone back in his role as Rocky Balboa. Definitely figured I'd grab this one. You know, the Rocky franchise is what, like 6 or 7 movies deep. You know, you figure Rocky, Rocky 2, 3, 4, 5, Rocky Balboa, Creed, Creed 2. So that's 8 movies right there. Whenever I finally get to do franchises month, and I hear Creed 3 is on the way, So that's 9, depending on when I finally get to franchises month. Could be a whole other movie thrown in there. If I've covered it by the time Creed 3 comes out, it's a new release Saturday because I will have already covered the entire franchise. Speaking of franchises, Paranormal Activity 3, the unrated director's cut. I think I picked up a copy of Paranormal Activity 3, but it was the Spanish language cover. This is the English language version, so gonna have this in my regular collection because I always keep the Spanish language covers kind of separate because they're really more conversation pieces in my collection. While we're in the vein of horror, I picked up Critters Attack, which I believe, not positive, but I believe is a sequel to the original Critters that came out in the mid to late 80s. I know there was Critters, Critters 2, and then Critters Attack, I believe, is either the third, maybe even the fourth in the series. The Critters are back, it says on the back there, so definitely part of that franchise. Definitely going to have to look for the missing pieces of this. That way, whenever I get to include it in my 31 Days of Horror, or if I want to do it with franchises, got all the pieces of the puzzle there. Wrapping up this haul is the first chapter of Stephen King's It, the modern retelling with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Clown. Did an amazing job. No Tim Curry, but just as good in his own way. I did thoroughly enjoy the first movie in that series. The second one, not as much, but I've always had a bit of an issue with the second chapter of the story when they're adults. I've always had issues with that part of the story. We'll definitely get in depth with it when I get to that point. This year, when I do my 31 Days of Halloween, it's all going to be Stephen King movies. I'm not sure if this will be able to make it in that part. Got to go through and re-examine my list. But 31 Days of Halloween this year is Stephen King. So this right here very well may end up being covered in October. What do you guys think of my haul this week? Let me know if you're watching the premiere. Leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that debate, that discussion, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. Have you seen Critters Attack? Creed? Aloha? What about the Human Tornado? Are you a fan of It? Do you agree with me that the second chapter is usually weaker in both tellings? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel for another brand new installment of Renegade's Reviews. And we get back to the musicals. We're going to be taking a look at the Beatles-inspired Across the Universe, starring Jim Sturgis, Evan Rachel Wood, Dana Fuchs, Joe Anderson, Martin Luther McCoy, TV Carpio, Spencer Lift, Lisa Hogg, Bono, Joe Cocker, Eddie Izzard, and Salma Hayek. You're not going to want to miss out on that right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel on Renegade's Reviews, Across the Universe, a story set in the 60s, scored by the songs of the Beatles, with all the actors performing said songs. Such a good movie. It's one I've seen numerous times before, so you're going to have to tune in on Monday, tomorrow, to see me get in depth on that. But until then, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of unboxing videos, fans of thrift store videos, fans of hunting videos. Anybody who would be interested in this video and this content, share it with them. It's the only way we're going to boost up my visibility in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized and start making some money on these videos. Thank you once again to everyone who joined me and tuned in today. means more to me than you'll ever know. And I will see you guys next time.